Hello, how you guys doing? I hope y'all are doing well. Realized this afternoon when I was recording my painting video that I was using my old DS like SD card because I ran out of room real fast. I'm like, that's weird. No, it's not. So I had to transfer the stuff over. I have no idea what's on this thing. That spot is not available anymore. Oh, that's not a good sign. Anyway, how are y'all doing? Having a little bit of trouble getting Restream to work, so give me half a second, YouTube. Hi to anyone who's over there. I apologize for not responding to you properly. Everything is broken. There we go. Now we can fix it. You're surviving? That's always a good start. You know? Something. Alright. It is the 13th. Hey, Lauren, how you doing? There we go. Now I can see it. Well, I saw it on the replay, but... are you ALR? Sure! I have no idea what that means. Alright, yes. Yeah, I'm alright. Today's okay. Been worse. Feeling sick, decided if I had just self-medicate or do a virtual visit to the doctor. It depends on what's wrong. I mean, never gonna tell you to not, like, check into shit, but also, alright, okay, yeah. LR, okay. Then that was the correct answer. I am doing good today. I wanna, paint more, so I probably won't do a super duper long stream today, but I figured, hey, let's start off with some just chatting. Go from there. I need to go delete some old VODs, so that way I have room. I bet if I delete this 9-hour VOD, I'll have room on my computer again. I think it's also because, I don't know. Doesn't really matter, we figured it out. Delete these things. Do you think you're gonna upload your first comeback streams to YouTube? I don't know if I have access to them anymore. So I think that the answer to that is no. They are gone to the March of Time. I don't have access to them anymore to use them. It's a common shortening. All right. I think I need to probably delete some of these games that we played yesterday. Overall, we did find some decent ones. I'm a little disappointed by some of them. And I was unexpectedly very happy with others. I'm dying a little. I hope they did well. Apparently, they updated Stable Diffusion to be so anti-NSFW that the AI can only do body horror now. Yeah, all right. You hear about this case of a real photo winning an AI Photoshop contest? Or not Photoshop, but AI... art contest. Let me see if I can pull that up. That was pretty good. Yeah, there we go. We got it from Gizmodo. It's great because it does look like AI art. I mean, yeah, art is doing a hell of a lot of work in this sentence, but yeah. Export those comeback streams to YouTube. All right. I can do that. I can actually do that in just a second. Let's finish talking about this real quick. A real photo took 3rd place in an AI image contest, and I can't tell if that's a win or a loss for humanity. I would say that this is a win. Because we always get these cases of AI winning like real competitions, so that a photographer ends up still being able to do better work than an AI can. In a contest where everyone knows that everything's AI is like a hilarious parody. Like, he could have done some stuff to hide it, but he didn't really try. You know? Yeah, whoever did this is based. Let's see. Your award has been since taken down, so I think they got better than third originally. No. Yeah, Miles Astray is not actually AI image titled Flamingon. Hinting that we vastly overestimate AI's ability to stimulate our senses, or that actual photos and art with human touch are inevitably better than those that don't. Yeah. That's amazing. I love this story. Because it's just like, let's be real, like, every single time someone goes, yeah, I won an art competition with AI, I'm so cool and creative. It's like, you're not. Yeah. It takes no skill to use AI. And that guy the other day that we were looking at who was doing stuff with, you know, AI to get the background, like, he's a professional, like, miniature painter. And he knows, like, what it takes to actually do work, I would assume. And, the fact that, like, it doesn't seem relevant, like, in every single contest where AI is, like, a thing, humans win the top 3 as well. Like, even in this one where it was supposed to all be AI generated. Like, that's hilarious to me. There's not much more to talk about here. I don't think there's really anything you can say that's like, oh, well, actually, it's bad. I mean, you know, I'm also like, Restream shut off yesterday. When? And then I can be working on uploading those VODs. Restream stopped showing YouTube content. Oh yeah. The I saw that, like, my you know, sub chat was saying, hey, that's basically what happened in the Pink Floyd debacle. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, so the Pope recently, I'm not gonna say the slur, but it's the F slur. And not like singular, like as a, as an adjective. Something or other tree. Is the English translation of what he said. If that makes sense. So I thought chat had just, like, found out about that. And no, he said it again. Like, I heard about him saying it last month, and so chat was like, happy Pride. And then, like, I'm like, oh no, actually he did say, you know, he did say that actually, like, a few, you know, days before June. But luckily, we can still have a homophobic Pope in Pride Month. So happy Pride, everyone. The Pope is homophobic and still has not released any information on how to deal with the sexual abuse that's going on in the We talking about the Pope moment? Stop showing YouTube messages after the Where's My Cat game. That's really weird. I think I'm getting all of them. I'm trying to get all the things. I don't know as if they're good enough quality to do. Okay, there we go. Do you think the Pope will ever excommunicate? I mean, like, I'll be real. What's the problem with what's the problem with gay people? Like, what? Again, you might want to use YouTube tools to blur out your window that one time. Yeah, I will. They're annoying. I'd never kiss men. I'm bi. Like, what? That's the bit I don't get, is like, what's the... Like, the Bible uses a slightly, like, you could argue that it says gay people bad in Leviticus, the Old Testament, where they just say, like, you know, don't do these things. Most of which was done away with by Jesus in the, you know, the New Testament. But people like that bit. They like that bit because it allows them to, you know, go, hey, God said it, so I'm allowed to be homophobic. But the thing is that love thy neighbor has been quoted in the Bible, I want to say like 8 to 9 times. Once actually in Leviticus. So, like, didn't Paul encourage anti-gay, anti-women stuff as far as the apostles go? I'm not aware of that. I mean, the anti-women stuff, probably. Do you happen to have a good New Testament verse to slam out against Leviticus? Leviticus is, I mean, honestly, Leviticus kind of eats itself. Like, you're not allowed to wear, like, mixed fabric that is also an equal sin to being gay. So there's... Do you know how many shirts are, like, mixed fabric? Like, most of them are, like, you know, like, if you buy a shirt from, like, the store, like, this shirt is probably, like, a mixed blend. Like, it's almost impossible to not buy one that's a mixed blend. Like, cotton polyester blends. I think don't wear mixed fabrics could be deflected as a whataboutism. And you could say that. You could say that, and the shellfish, and stoning your wife if she speaks against you. You could say those are all whataboutisms, but I feel like if it was important, it would be something that Jesus would, you know, be very about. He would say it quite often. Which is what he does when, you know, someone goes, well, what if I'm like, you know, it's the Sabbath and I'm supposed to take the Sabbath off, but like there's like my donkey falls in a hole. What do I do? And Jesus goes, that's an asshole. No, he says, you know, remember this above all else, love thy neighbor as thyself. I mean, the thing about it is, like, the bit about thou, you know, shall not lie with another man as a woman lies with a man is arguably just against, like, bottoming. So as long as you're the top in the gay relationship, it's not actually a sin. You just have to be the top. Also, nothing against lesbians. Absolutely nothing in the Bible against lesbians. I mean, yeah, that's also a super bad translation of it. That line was edited, the original said child. Like at the thou shalt not lie with a child. I'm gonna need a source on that one, because that seems very contemporary. Because our contemporary notion of what a child is has also changed. You can literally pay off your sin. We had a couple of divisions of the church about that. Martin Luther got real fucking pissed about that. He wrote a note. He put it on her door. Yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah, don't fuck children is probably a good commandment. And I think that, you know, I actually support that one, you know? I've heard it was intended to be a man cannot lie with a child. See that? In order for us to actually have that translation, we would have to learn, like, not even Latin. Like, you'd have to learn, like, ancient Arabic or some shit. Like Hebrew. Yeah. The love of money is the root of all evil. I mean, like, yeah, it's really like the reaction to money that is evil, not so much the concept of it. But I mean, even still, I think you could argue that the concept of it is pretty evil as well. I mean, yeah, Jesus would absolutely hate the current church. I don't know how money would collect 200 of itself, but yeah. I mean, again, I'm not a Christian, and I don't claim to be. That is my favorite verse, the time that Jesus flipped all the tables. Like, Jesus spoke about that. He spoke about, like, don't be a, like, wealth grabbing asshole. Like, he talked about that several times. I don't think he talked about gay people once. You know? It is easier to drive a camel through the eye of a needle than it is to get into heaven, or for a rich man to get into heaven, right? Do not turn my father's house into a marketplace. And people like to go, well, actually, the eye of the needle was like this thing in this one town. It was like an arch, and like it was hard to get. No, that's bullshit. That was absolutely not a thing. Do you think Jesus would support Findom? I don't think so. No. Like, no. I think that one is like, yeah. The point is, it's impossible. If someone told me that Rev is a youth pastor, I would believe it. Can I be real? I've thought about doing that. I feel like that's probably fucked, though. You know? Let me explain. When I was, okay, so, like, if you work at Chick-fil-A, right? That's a Christian organization, has Christian values. They sell Christian chicken. They're openly homophobic, all that jazz. You can work there and not agree with the values of the organization, right? So does it work the other way around? Like, can I work at a church and just, like, not believe any of it, but I do my job? Yeah, Salta knew where that was going. Like, I like a lot of the shit that Jesus said. I just don't like a lot of the, yeah. Use your position to spread actual tolerance and acceptance of others. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, like, Legend wants, like, a way to, like, counter that argument about, like, it being, like, you know, gay is a sin. And it's like, I think that the only real arguments are whataboutism and the fact that Jesus didn't bring it up, and also said, hey, all of this stuff has changed. You know? Because it is the Old Testament. We got the New Testament talking about the new stuff. Don't be a money-grubbing asshole. Love your neighbor as yourself, love God with all your heart. Those are the only important bits of the Bible. Those are the things that he kept saying, you know? And like, you know, well, I mean, Chanton Wolf, I agree, but if you believe in some of the stuff that's said about the church, which I feel like is just an insane take, but the idea that, like, you know, don't Ten Commandments greater than anything else that Jesus said. Yeah, 10 Commandments were supposed to be the bullet points, not a bucket list, you know? Like, those are the things you're not supposed to do. I think it's wild that, like, I don't think that religion's a bad thing, but I think people use it in really bad ways, you know? I've said that multiple times. Like, it's, you can use religion to be a healing thing. My father-in-law is super about religion now, and he's like an extrovert, like a true extrovert. He has to be talking to people, he has to hang out with people, and he's also ex-military now, right? He retired. He has a drive in him to do stuff in the community, right? So it's like he goes to church because it allows him to do both of those things. And so in doing so, my, you know, father-in-law, who I don't agree with on a lot of political stuff, you know, he votes much more right-wing than I do, in that he votes right-wing. He goes out and helps the homeless. Like, he helps in food kitchens and shit, which is, like, really cool of him, you know? And he does that stuff because the church is there, because there's a pathway to it. And I think that's great. I think that it's, like, great to have community centers where, like, there's the idea is you go there and you can do things and then, like, you do some good in this world. So, yeah, Trump making his own Bibles is ridiculous. I think that, I mean, I don't need to, like, go on with that. Like, he is no religious authority. But what I was going to say earlier is that there are people who believe that the word of God is, like, immutable. Like, in other words, even through translation, it's great. Like, the Bible can't be translated wrong, which to me seems weird because, like, doesn't it, like, we have, like, the New Testament, there's like 800 different versions of the Bible, you know? I think that's just a poorly educated opinion. It is a thing that people believe. Okay, so the thing is, gay is bad translation is that specifically the wording is thou shalt not lay with God's Zashar as with Isha. Though Zashar literally means child, in the Bible, it was used to refer to children when the Egyptians got hit with the plague, and in this context, if you say boys of God, you could also mean men. Okay. I think that, like, if you're gonna believe in the Bible, you should do it where you get the general vibes of it. you know, and understand that it has been filtered through a whole bunch of shit. Like through people in different times who had different opinions on things. Like, be good to one another. Golden rule shit. 10 commandments are actually like fairly reasonable things to sell each other, right? What are they again? 10 commandments. Don't steal. Honor your mother and father. Sometimes they suck. Thou shalt not take the name of God. And I mean, okay, again. Don't covet someone else's wife. Don't cheat on your wife. Don't murder people. Don't lie. Chill on Sundays. God's the only God. No graven images. Catholics have a problem with that. Yeah, I think that you can, like, Catholics love their saints, and I feel like those are graven images, but that's just me. I don't know. Also, Flamidus, thank you for the 82 months of support. I don't think I said thank you for that. Yeah, a lot of religions are simplified to don't being assholes. I think that's like with the exception of stuff like Satanism. Luciferianism still has the don't be an asshole thing. Satanism has like do what feels good, but you know, don't trample on other people's shit. Love the Bible discourse. I'm a reverend. It's not outside my wheel well to have a take on this, I think. Also, just like, I think that a lot of people are just in that, like, I don't know. When I was in high school / early college, that was like right when like the really like extreme atheism thing was going around, and it was just like, I hated that, and they kind of ran out of like targets to go after, saying that, you know, religion dumb. And then just taking that on like literally everyone. And eventually you run out of people who are like legitimately bad. Mostly Christians, let's be real. Most of the time they were going after Christians because they were easy targets. And once you run out of that, what do? You pretty much, I guess, just gotta move on to a different thing. But like, while you can prove yourself with logic and facts when it comes to atheism, maybe, yeah, I think that you can be incredibly awful as an extreme atheist. I think that, like, I don't need to hear that you're an atheist. I don't fucking care. I forget, there was a term that Adam Savage used recently, and it's like oh god, it was something along the lines of like non-practicing atheist or something weird like that. Or like atheistic Christian or something like that. It was something weird like that. But yeah, a lot of those people, New Testament agnostic, that was the term he used. I loved that. Because yeah, a lot of that stuff I agree with. And I think that, you know, science says probably no God, but Probably not. We don't have exact proof of it. We just don't have proof of it yet. But yeah, a lot of the atheists who ended up being, you know, super hardcore about it needed a new target, needed a new thing, and that's how we got the anti-feminism movement of, you know, the fedora wearing nerds, and then it went on to Gamergate shit. And debate bro ethics or atheists, yeah. That's why Richard Dawkins went into that shit. And it's like, what does any of this have to do with your thing? Best example, the Amazing Atheist. Yep. He went that route. A lot of atheist YouTubers went that route. Was it Thunderfoot? I think he went that route as well. I don't know. I don't understand agnostics when all the answers when science is right there. I'm down to be proven wrong, you know? I was on that scene for years, and you're right. The fall of Thunderfoot was disappointing. Yeah. Because he'd put out videos on stuff that kind of made sense. Where he'd talk about, like, hey, I don't think that this thing is legit. I think this is a scam or whatever. And like, okay, sure, cool. That's great. I also remember I need to move things over. Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't know as if I would follow a god like the Christian God, because like it's kind of a dick a lot of the time. Like, he kills a lot of people for not believing in him, and if like me not getting into heaven is because of that, because he hasn't given like real positive proof that he's real in comparison to any other god, then I don't know. I'm just gonna be a good person, and if if being a good person isn't good enough for whatever powers might be, I'd prefer to be in hell anyway. You know, if it is actually against the Lord's wishes to support gay people, then send me to hell. I don't give a shit. Like, I want people to stop suffering. I want people to have a small amount of happiness over life while they can. And being true to themselves is how they do that. So, like, if that's what it takes, I don't know, man. Like, I honestly think that hell's gonna be a cool party. You know, give me a pitchfork. Let me fuck up some of these pedos, and then I'll go have a party with some gay people. Yeah. Jesus talked about gay people 0 times. He talked about the separation of church and money extensively. He talked about, like, I mean, like, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Going into the church and flipping all that shit over. A rich man cannot enter the gates of heaven any easier than, you know, camel to the eye of a needle. Like, he talks about that a lot. He doesn't talk about gay people, you know? I think if you're going to need proof that that's the case, I would say that, you know, Jesus did flip those things. He did get rid of Leviticus and say, this is the thing. I think that religion itself is fine. I think that organized religion can be very harmful, though. Oh yeah, a lot of the shit that if you did what the Bible tells you to do, you'd be called woke almost instantly. And I think that's what really needs to be brought up. Anytime someone goes like, hey, I do this because I'm a Christian, it's like, well, do you do the other shit or are you just a homophobe? Do you do the other shit or do you just stand outside abortion clinics? If I remember properly, did I not throw you for a loop once by saying we were not supposed to know that sperm exists? I don't remember that or not. Yeah, I know someone that I grew up with who was very Christian, who, when I brought up the slavery thing, because I'm like, the whole slavery thing's kind of fucked. And I was like, well, I don't know, if you treat them well. I'm like, well, I don't know. I think that if you're making someone a slave is bad. I think that, and someone mentioned it earlier, and I'm going to bring it up now, and then I'm going to go and get some more coffee and switch the laundry over. But watching these morning coffee streams feel like listening to talk radio with the chat comments as callers. Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah. I never have a plan going into this. I just like go off of whatever chat's going to bring up. We brought up, you know, the Pope being homophobic, and so there we are. Yeah, I mean, like, gay people have been around forever. Trans people, the name trans is fairly modern, but the concept is not. And the only reason it is modern is because you can only really be trans if you have a gender binary to some degree. Like, if we had 100 genders, being trans would not be, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there. Everything is communal to Jesus. If you read the Communist Manifesto, I assume that's a manifesto we're talking about. It reads like how Jesus preached. And he was like, you know, not super into religion. Will you jack off to drag Mike? Will I? No. I already have. That's a manifesto that we're talking about. I mean, like, I don't know. I guess the thing that I wanted to bring up is someone earlier was like, oh man, Rev just bunker busting through these like subjects that would cause other streamers to sweat frog. Yeah, no, I mean, it's probably like a bad idea that I like talk about like religion, politics, all those things, but also what do I got to lose? Fuck it. You know? It's not like I've already not talked. I mean, like, I've talked about those things already, so it's like, oh, someone's gonna go and find that anyway. I wouldn't even call it the Hassan strat, because Hassan says, like, just bizarre shit. I think just to piss people off sometimes, because he needs to get, you know, back on trending. Yeah, basically, like, I want people to challenge me on the shit I say, you know? It does help that we're on the same wavelength, for sure, and some people could call that an echo chamber, but I mean, also, like, I invite anyone in here. That's why I say that this is not a safe space, not because I don't support gay people, yada yada, but because I want people to have a chance to grow and to get over being weird. So if you're gay, you're welcome here. If it's okay to have different opinions, and like some people are like, man, being homophobic, I just realized is really shit. But like they've been homophobic for a long time, or transphobic for a long time, and they don't fucking like know necessarily that they're being that way, and they just need like a little bit of a like check. They just need to be told like, hey man, like that's actually kind of fucked. And like, yeah. I've been told who Hassan is, but I still haven't come across him and refuse to remember anything about him. Be gay, do crimes. Sure. It's really easy to not, I mean, like, I, as someone who used to be more problematic and grew out of it because I was challenged, because people did say, hey man, that's kind of fucked, man. I realize that, like, to some degree, I need to be okay with other content creators who are, you know, trying to do good things. And so while Hassan doesn't do things the way I would like, he doesn't say the things that I would like to say, I should probably just let him be him, you know? At least the people that are watching him aren't turning into chuds. And that's something, you know? My beliefs are definitely less authoritarian than his, but yeah, he's not XQC. Yeah. And like, I'm obviously very anti-authoritarian, but I think we can be on the same page that capitalism is causing some real fucking big problems. And that's not great. We should probably stop doing that thing. Or at least change it to the point that it doesn't resemble what it is. I haven't heard the name of XQC since he moved to Kick, which is kind of what I expected of anyone who moved over to Kick, is that you would stop hearing them about. Like, you would just not... I believe he was on I think he went to Kick. And, like, the thing about Kick is, like, I can't figure out how they're making money aside from, like, taking money from their gambling operation to fund their streaming service, you know? Their server usage is low. Yeah, it's funneling money from gambling, which means that the only way that I'm getting paid is like, yeah, it's investment venture capital. Like they're gonna say like, hey, either this works or it doesn't. I mean, Kick is definitely like what happens after you lose your gig at Twitch or YouTube. YouTube, if you're like Japanese, because apparently Japan really prefers YouTube over Twitch for a lot of its streams. So like people I know that like do like VTubing who are, you know, they'll stream on on stuff like Nico Nico and YouTube instead. Have you considered playing Bomb Rush Cyberpunk? It's from the Lethal League guys. I haven't. I could look into it. But yeah. Yeah, VTubing could have been V-twitching. I'm kind of glad it's VTubing. VTubing sounds better than V-twitching, but maybe I'm just used to it. Anyway, I'm gonna go top off my coffee real quick, and I'm gonna move the stuff over from the washer to the dryer. V streamers. Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. Blocking gender affirming care in Florida got ruled unconstitutional. I mean, yeah. The right to pursue, you know, happiness. It's like, how is that not? Like, why do I get to say, nah, you can't do that when it doesn't hurt? Are you mad at Hassan for some reason? I'm saying, like, we let Hassan be Hassan and I'll be me, and hopefully it just makes the world a better place, you know? Hassan doesn't really have more reach than me, and if it means that there's less, you know, if people are like, oh, like, I can be, you know, on this website and lefty or whatever, then cool, great, awesome, you know? Probably going to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court, not great right now. Not super cool. Basic as fuck take. But yeah, let me go get more coffee. Starting estrogen next week here in Florida. Wish me good luck. Good luck. I will say that everyone that I have known who have gone through it have done it's second puberty. You are going to get like sick in the mornings and shit. I don't know what that is. I've never had like the drugs myself, but based on friends and people I know who have, that is the thing that you're gonna have to like deal with. Like, and I think maybe, and I don't know like if this is a thing or not, like people who have transitioned, answer this for me if you will. And I know this is like a little like, but still, are bathroom troubles in general part of like getting the transing drugs, like getting estrogen specifically? Like, is that a thing, or is it like, because like of people that I've known, they take a lot of breaks, and it may just be like they don't want to be at work. Going to pee a lot is part of it. Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm not talking about like the public restroom, like people are fucking assholes thing. I'm talking about like, if you start taking estrogen, does it make you have to use the bathroom more often? I mean, that's just an awful fucking combo with the bathroom panic shit. Which, like, okay, I've never gotten that argument. It's like, do people really think that like people who are going to be like, I don't know, rapists or something, that they're going to be like, ah, here's what I can do. I can just walk into this room where all these women are going to be. And then, oh, fuck. It's got a women only sign on. Well, now I can't go in. Drat. Like, if I want to go in a place, I just fucking go in a place. You know? Like, do you think someone who doesn't respect someone else's, like, right to bodily autonomy is going to be like, oh, yeah, that sign applies to me? That's going to be the bit that stops them? Yeah, no one's throwing a fit about the men's bathroom. No. Solid 70% of trans women I know get really into pickles and pickles jukes. Weird. It's self-reporting by cis people who want to do it. Yeah. I mean, that's entirely possible. I'm just saying, like, it must be a hormone thing. Pregnant women also really like pickles. Maybe. I know that pickle juice has a lot of like electrolytes in it. So like, after you go out for a run, like drinking some water and eating a pickle will help So maybe it's like an electrolyte thing? If we let men into women's bathrooms, the cops can't stop the freaks. I mean, like, couldn't you just be like, hey, that person's trying to, like, touch everyone in the bathroom? Like, I don't know. It seems stupid. Trans women get periods, no bleeding, but you get the other shit. Jesus Christ. How is this not proof that being trans is, like, legit? Because why would you fucking choose to get periods, you know? Like... Oh, no, I'm not trans. Period can't... No, shut the fuck up. Alright, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and, I'm gonna go ahead and get some coffee. I'll be right back. We fixed this with AI and police sarcasm. Okay, I was waiting. I didn't know there was the S at the end, and I was about to be like, bruh. But then the S, and then now I agree with you. Yes, we should definitely use AI and cops to fix that problem. All right, I'll be right back. 2 minutes, BRB. Make sure you entertain him, boy. Okay? All right, I am back. Did the music not loop? That would have sucked. Hopefully the music actually played the entire time. I'm back. I I got specifically Finnish beer and snacks for the next My Summer Car screen. There wasn't music? Cool. Cool, it didn't play at all. Alright, well, whatever. That's neat, because I played it. Someone was asking what I put in my coffee. I put nothing. It's just coffee. I get the, store brand, both down in Texas, and then, we moved up to Maine, so now I get the store brand here. It's not fruity at all. It doesn't have that diner taste. I just drink it black. I don't know. I've got a bit of a philosophy that simplicity is good. Great song. Can we get an encore? Yeah, I'll just go ahead and keep playing it in the background like I just did a minute ago. I like that diner taste myself. I find it too watery. Death Wish brand coffee. Coffee flavored pancakes. My coffee is very girly. My wife doctors her coffee. It's usually a decent amount of milk and then a decent amount of sugar. I should say salted carcal muta. Thank you for the 4 months of support. I didn't need music. I'll give you these dollars, Rev. Thank you. If I were to build for Green Tide, 80 boys or 100 boys? I am, when I've run my Green Tide list, I run 60 because that's what I own. But also because I want some toys with my boys. Had a booger that whole time, I think. But I think that just being able to make those groups good, getting Makari in to give lethal hits, I think is good enough. It's T5. It's got a 5-up invuln. You throw a pain boy in there, they got a 5-up feel no pain. Working backwards, it is a fucking pain in the ass to get through that. I actually don't know what the math is on that, but I have 40 currently trying to figure out. Well, it looks like with the new pack, there is actually going to be a secondary that targets battle line, someone who spams battle line units. So I think that you go for a bit of a in between on that. 120 is really hard, but if they have an answer to it, you're fucked. But I like having I do like having the option to have just other shit. I forget exactly what my recent orc list is because I've been playing CSM so much recently and trying to find the hotness that isn't Renegade Raiders. I think that I honestly think that the Alpha Legion detachment is really fucking good. I like giving lone op to the lone op thing to a random just Chaos Lord. Alpha Legion means you don't need to bring Nurglings, which means that I don't need to buy them. I don't think that you go 100 or whatever it is, 20 cultists in one brick. And you can, but you definitely don't attach the Dark Commune. Because the Dark Commune does not work with Soul Link, as the Demagogue is not alive in the other unit and cannot be. I think that a 5-up invuln on a 20-man squad of cultists, if your opponent can't get through that, it doesn't matter, man. You don't need that. A 5-up invuln is not going to change anything for your opponent in that specific situation. You just need it to survive long enough to be a problem for your opponent. I'm actually looking at a lot of Chaos Sorcerers right now. I think -1 to hit and then doing Mortal Wounds is fucking hilarious. Baden did take a hit in that he no longer does a lot of stuff for cultists, and then he also only gains his command point on a 7-up on your leadership check for the thing. I've tried the Alpha Legion detachment. I've tried Renegade Raiders. I have not tried drinking shampoo. You do the win game by standing on circles. Yeah, the Renegade Raiders thing is good, but here's the problem with the Renegade Raiders. All their stuff involves, like, fucking with people that are on objectives, and your opponent isn't always on objectives, and people go, well, then they're losing the game. Not necessarily. Maybe they're on the objectives you're not near. Maybe they're staging to get on the objective, and you have nothing to deal with afterwards. Maybe they're going to go do actions in the corners or something. You really need to kill that unit, but you can't. I think that the +3 to charge strat, like, is wild. Is drinking shampoo a Warhammer term? No. No, that's just something that someone's asked. I don't know why they asked me that. They were just asking that in addition to other stuff that I was talking about as far as Warhammer goes. Instead of beer, finish the classic Killju. Yeah, I'm aware of them. I also got Moomin-shaped gummies for the next My Summer Car. Do you see Angron? You kill Angron. Yeah. Ever make potions in the shower? No. Maybe as a kid. My shampoo, I would imagine, doesn't taste good. I've accidentally tasted it. I have not actively tasted it. Because that is a bad... I don't like eating soap. I've been forced to eat soap once. My mom washed my mouth out with soap once because we got caught cussing. And she was really upset and she didn't know what to do. So she was just like, I don't know, you guys curse, so I'll wash your mouth out with soap. I don't have a thirst for soap, no. I don't think you'll die from eating shampoo. I think you'll just vomit. What swear word did I use? My brother and I in 6th grade, both had a shop teacher, right? So shop is like, you do wood cutting stuff, a lot of like working with wood. I think that's the entire, I'm trying to think of what else you do in shop class, and it's basically just make shit with wood. And it's a middle school class. Anyway, we had a teacher who was like kind of dumb as hell. Like, he would do this thing where it was like, yeah, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with the bandsaw. Cut off my finger with the bandsaw. If you don't watch out, you'll end up like me. And, like, the joke would be to do something like this or whatever, where, like, you pretend that one of your fingers, but you do this, and it was very clear that both of his hands still all had their fingers, so I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. The guy was kind of dumb. So we wrote a story in, I want to say it was KidWorks too. But it had this thing where you could get it to read out the voice in like Microsoft Sam voice. And so we wrote a story about how the guy cut off his dick with a bandsaw. Yeah, it was like text to speech, and me and my brother wrote out a story, just using all the curse words that we knew, and one of them was dick, and so we had it, so he cut off his dick with a bandsaw, and so we'd like pull it up and laugh at it every now and then, and yeah, so then my brother ended up showing it to one of my mom's friend's kids, who was my elementary school teacher. I was not in the room for this. It was supposed to be kind of an in-joke between me and my brother. And he showed it to him, and that kid snitched. Because that kid was not, like, okay with it. Because that story is fucking heinous. And so then we both got in trouble. And my brother was like... Funniest part was when my mom walked out of the room. We're both sitting in my parents' bedroom. And we've been caught, right? And my brother goes, don't worry, I'm going to take more of the blame for this that way, because I was the one who showed it. As if, like, he made a determination there that he was going to, like, that's the reason that he was getting more punished than me. And it's like, my mom was mostly upset that we shared it with the kid. Because, like, it made her look really bad. But also, we shouldn't have been using those words. I did not stab the snitch. We did not try and argue that, no. We both got grounded for a bit. He got grounded longer because, again, of that. And he held that over me for years. And I'm like, dude, but no, you actually did. Because one of the few times I actually got grounded as a kid. That and one time I beat the fuck out of him. Because he was being an asshole. And, my brother walked, I remember, like, beating the shit out of my brother and then him walking into the house crying. And I sat down on the hill outside in the grass, in the wind. And I'm like, this is going to be one of the last times I get to sit outside for a while. Like, I know I'm getting grounded for this shit. So I'm just going to sit here for a second, then I'll go face the music. Because I know I'm fucked. Like, there's no way I can walk my way out of this one. What Warhammer stuff should I look into if I really just want to build figs? I would do Kill Team, man. If you want to do that, unless if you want to build vehicles, the stuff they use for Kill Team is just like a box of troops. With the exception of 1,000 Suns, where you need like some crazy setup. And that's only like $60 in comparison to like whatever it costs to build a whole Warhammer army. Which is the other reason that I don't own 120 boys, is because, like, I'm not going to buy that several times over. That'd be great, man. The Necron box is probably fine. I'd, you know, spray those guys down, but with a primer, and, you know, mint for minis, and then paint them. What did he do? What did who do? That's a funny idea. Could you survive the country or county jail? That's the same. Oh, what did he do that made me beat his ass? I have no idea off the top of my head. Like, my brother was just kind of an asshat at times when we were kids. And I remember one time that he decided not to snitch on me for beating his ass. Because I, like, he kept doing this thing where I was, like, trying to play EverQuest, right? Because, like, this is when I was homeschooled. You try and fight back? We did make up. Yeah, I mean, we're adults. We made up afterwards, obviously. But I was playing EverQuest, and, you know, we had to sign in and out when we used the computer. And my brother was just, like, in a mood. You know, he kept trying to, like, doing stuff. Like, he kept coming up to me like this. Kind of thing, where he's like, oh, you gonna do something? Coming out, yelling at me, doing that, then coming back in. Like, going back to his bedroom and then trying to start shit with me again. And I'm like, if he does it again, I'm just going to throw out water at him and then, like, punch him real fucking hard. And then he did it again. I threw my water in his face, and he recoiled because he did not expect me to do something. And I punched him hard enough in the arm that it bruised. Luckily punched him, like, up here. So, like, his shirt hit it. And he's like, We're not gonna tell mom because I don't want us to get in trouble. I'm not sure how both of us would have gotten in trouble there, but I was like, all right. Like, yeah, all right. But again, he deserved it because he was trying to start a fight with me. He was trying to, you know, be an asshole, and like I just got fed up with that shit. It's also like I don't think that he really realized that like at that point like I had been doing martial arts for like years and training like every single day to become like very physically fit, and like it was very much like an okay bet moment where yeah, like he was trying to start some shit, and it's like the reason I didn't beat his ass all the time was because like I thought that was a bad thing to do, you know? Like, and this is just like how siblings are, I think. Do you have a six-pack? God, I fucking wish. I think I eat too many sweets to have a six-pack. Drink too many Cokes, that kind of thing. Wish I did, though. Yeah, I don't probably exercise enough to offset the sweets and Coke. And like, listen, like at the end of the day, if I'm like super depressed, it's gonna be taking two things. I'm gonna need some ice cream, and I'm gonna need some drugs. And yeah. Like you have to like cut real fucking hard to have visible abs. Maine is an American state, yes. It's like the top right one on the map. A martial art. I was doing kendo for a bit, which is the sword fighting style that samurai used. So, do we know why minis are so spendy? Because GW has a monopoly on their own product, and because they keep raising the price despite the fact that, like, I mean, they just have better quality miniatures than any other game right now. And they know it, and so they're just gonna do that. Kendo is like Japanese fencing, yeah. It's with bamboo swords, because the actual wood ones they were using originally kept killing people. So they had to like downgrade from like metal to wood to bamboo. I've never heard of Maine before you mentioned it, so it's weird. I should have driven into it at least once when I lived in Quebec. I mean, maybe? Yeah, they can't survive without... I mean, like, yeah, it's like, why is Pokemon keep making shit games and still selling them at 60 bucks? Like, well, because... Yeah. Can't wait for the 3D printing RevArc. I mean, like, that's the thing is I was looking at some of my lists that I was thinking about for 40K, and I'm like, I kind of, like, low-key want to run, like, how hard were they hitting people with wooden swords and killing them? HEMA people practice with blunt steel. Yeah, because like you get taught how to actually hit people with a sword. Like HEMA is like, oh, we studied some ancient texts or whatever. Like it hasn't been passed down through generations like Kendo has, you know? Like you can absolutely kill someone with a blunt weapon. Like every now and then I'll like, you know, when I'm putting like the knife away or whatever after I've gotten done, because we don't have a dishwasher, right? So I have to hand wash everything. I'll put away like the big knife after my wife's done using it, and to like clean it off, I'll just like do the little knife flick that, you know, you do with your sword, and it cleans all the water off. It just flicks it off in one go, more or less. Because like Are you gonna get a dishwasher? There's not really room for it, and honestly, like, we don't have that many dishes, and it's not that bad. And if that's what I gotta deal with, yeah, I'm kind of okay with it. Like, that's probably like the only bad part about this location. And it's like, yeah, I mean, like, saber fighting is pretty legit. Yeah, there you go. I always called them Boken. But these are the you got a real sword, you got a Boken, is what we would call them, a wooden sword that has a, you know, usually a plastic hilt, and then you have the Shinai, which is a plastic or a bamboo sword that has it's usually lamb's wool or something along those lines to tie this in, and then this string here, which is kind of hard to see because it's white on white. Scam call. So this string here represents the back of the blade, because like the blade is only on one side on a real sword. There's no point in trying to hit someone with the back of the sword, so you want to like make sure you're using. And finally sick of doing the yellow bit. Well, I'm tired of them being bots every time, you know? But yeah, I mean, I did fencing for a bit, but I wanted something a little bit more like physically contact. You know, I wanted more impact. Literally bring up Aedo. I don't know about that. Is this one gonna actually be exciting? This is like some tournament. No, they're too high level. High level, like, yeah, we could get a portable dishwasher, but it's not like that. Let's see. This one is someone doing HEMA against Kendo. Alright, yeah, that sucks. Also, a lot of Kendo would work really well against double-bladed weapons. I'm trying to find a video of someone like actually like doing Kendo and it not being high-level people, because high-level people will spend so much fucking time just looking at each other and like waiting for a break. It's like how I ended up beating my sensei once, because he was fucking hardcore, man. He was real fucking hardcore. Like, the only way I was able to beat him was to pretend that I was getting tired. Fighting game neutral, but IRL. Like, a lot of, like, high-level Kendo fights are them just, like, circling each other, right? Like, that's probably what we're gonna see in this video here. Hold on. Let me pull it up on main screen. This is the outfit that you wear in Kendo. You've got Bogu, which is the armor. It's made up of 4 parts. You've got your helmet. Let me zoom in. Just call them in. You've got your gauntlets, which are called kote, which I believe I still have my kote. The do, which is like the body armor. It's like a plate of, I think it's bamboo, with like a connected top bit. And then you've got, I think it's called tare, which is just sort of like leg armor that doesn't go very far. It kind of just mostly protects your crotch. and that area you'll have like your name or whatever. Especially if you're representing a team, you'll have your name written out. There is a scarf sort of thing that when you're setting up to do kendo, you like sit down, you read whatever it says on it, you try and bide that into your next fight, and it'll say something very simple. It'll be like honor or sacrifice or like something along those lines, and you'll just go, okay. And that's to hold your hair back. So like having long hair is like really annoying in kendo because you got to keep it out of the way. So it also kind of just like keeps your helmet on. So your hair is kept back, your sweat is kept back. It's essentially a sweatband, but very like old school. And then this thing right here, this white piece of fabric, is just to designate one fighter from the other. So this guy's got the white one on, and then this guy's got the red one on. You wouldn't do this when you were just regularly like practicing or whatever, but if you're going to a tournament, you would. So that way you can go red fighter versus white fighter, because like it's fucking tell the difference between these guys. Like it gets really confusing really fast, especially when they're like the same height. Now I'm 6'3", and you know, Asian people are generally not. So it was pretty easy to tell me apart from a lot of people that I was participating with. This video is only 6 seconds long.
Whatever you do, do it.
Oh, okay, that was just the ad. So again, you've got the judge. There are usually 3 of them. And they rotate in a pyramid sort of situation. So let me bring up MS Paint. So you'll have your arena, and your arena will be set up such that you have like a square, right? You have the initial spot where you guys meet, which is marked out by an X in the center. There is a line for the starting point for one person and a line for the starting point for the other person. You put the tips of your swords here, so that way they float over the X. And then you have the red person. Go and fill in this area with blue, just to make it so that way I can color in where the white person goes. You have the, let's choose a lighter. There we go. All right. So you have the red person taking one side. We'll use a circle for that. And then you have the white player taking the other. And then you'll have 3 judges, and there'll be something along these lines. And they'll try and keep this formation where they rotate. So if the fighters like rotate, the judge will rotate, so that way there's one behind this guy, one kind of off to the behind this guy, and then one looking right at the middle. And that way they can tell, you know, whether or not the hits are valid, because they can look okay from one angle, but maybe not the other. So if like all the judges hold up the same flag, then it's considered a hit because they all agree that that guy hit that guy. How often do judges disagree? You'll see them like do a little like that move, but it's pretty what makes a hit invalid? No strike through, no follow through on the action. You'll see it some probably in these videos. But that's what the flags are for and what the little thing on his back is. When you first start, you bow, then you walk towards each other, you draw your sword and squat, you stand back up, and then the fight begins and everyone starts yelling. The strike also has to land between that white part here and the tip, because that's the most effective cutting part of a katana. So if that was a real sword, you're not getting much of a cut if you hit them with this bit. Now these guys are 7th level Dan, so they're 7th degree black belts. Getting much higher rank than that is borderline impossible nowadays, because you'd have to find someone who's higher rank than you. So this position that they're in is like the basic default stance. There are other stances you can take. Most of them suck and are not worth doing. This works because if you just hold this neutral stance, your opponent can't actually move closer to you without running into your sword, which is great, right? If you have to rank up by, you don't have to fight people higher rank than you. You have to have someone higher rank than you say that you're, you know, good enough, that you were able to attain whatever rank that you're supposed to. And literally, like, people at the highest ranks are dying faster than other types of weapons used in Kendo, or is Kendo specific to swords? Mostly just swords. There are like the like short sword dagger thing, but like it's a weird ladder system. It's a weird system. I want to say 7th or 8th Dan is like the highest you can be. I got up to 1st Dan because it goes backwards. So like the bigger the number, the better. So like I was like a 1st degree black belt, which is significantly worse than a 7th degree. And I did not do particularly well in the test. They do fight with the short sword as well. But yeah, again, generally you don't see them in actual fights. You just do it for like practice or for kata. So here they're waiting, like trying to break like fights and stuff. Technically it goes up to 10th Dan, but there are no 10th Dan 10th degree black belts that exist in Kendo anymore because they are dead. But yeah, the way I ended up beating my sensei is we did this for quite a while, and then I started acting like I was fatigued. And so I started dropping my guard a bit and opening up my wrists so that way he could go for it. And just because I was younger and faster, I just waited for him to open to try and get me, and then I like parried and went for him. So I basically was just like, the only way that I can win this, the only way I can actually land a strike on a guy who is like, I think he was like 7th Dan or something. Like, I was just like, I've just gotta just wait for him to underestimate me and then just be faster. I'm not like more skilled than him, but I can be faster because I'm younger than him, you know? And that's all I had on him. This is why like really high level matches are kind of boring, because they just do this, like trying to bat each other's swords out of a guard position so they can get a little bit of any sort of advantage to get a move. Yeah, he's trying to bait him a bit there by letting his sword down a bit. He's trying to do a parry there. Or he's trying to repose. Yeah, no follow through, so the attack doesn't count. The red is trying to pull out of hand to hand. White doesn't care. Yeah, agreed. White's strike was a lot better there. After a point is scored, you go back to default. If the hit is good, the armor was weak enough in Japan that like that would have cut through the armor, that would have cut through the helmet, and that guy would be fucking dead. Again. Yeah, that happens a lot. Someone will catch you by Like, that was unintentional, but it happens. Why barefoot? You have a lot more mobility options barefoot. In kendo, generally speaking, your feet only leave the floor when you, like, make a lunge attack. Also, these are essentially trip pants. They're super baggy. Like, it's not a dress. There are 2 separate leg holes. And this thing is made out of a completely unbreathable material. But yeah, he tried to go through, but he couldn't because this guy's, shinai got stuck on the shoulder. Resetting because they got stuck. White is antsy. Yeah, it's very padded, that shirt. It's so uncomfortable, though, after a while. Yeah, that follow-through is weak, but he did do a combo. It could just be sweat or something. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. I think maybe it's face blurring? Done really badly? Much better. Huh? Yeah. His follow through is weird. He's either antsy or baiting. Again, got, like, caught. That was the judge going, like, alright, stop. You guys got caught. Like, stuck. But these strikes are not going through. Like, they're not finishing it. Like, you need to throw your entire body weight to swing through. You can't just stop in front of them. Again, he's gonna get called to stop again. Oh, no, they're just gonna go from there. So this is why double-bladed weapons wouldn't work well against someone doing kendo. Because they'd lock you into this position and then just force your blade into your shoulder. They both decided to just back off there because it wasn't going anywhere. 1 point game to White. See, this is why high level kendo is really boring to watch because like like they're too good. They just like never give each other an opening to do anything at. So they just kind of like stare at each other. And if they go for a hit, they fail it. You know? Is there footage of a 10th Dan Kendoka? No, not as far as I'm aware of. No. So, like, honestly, like, lower level matches are more interesting. I just realized you have no category set right now. Oh my god, I fucking... Like, high-level chess where it's 9 draws and win. Like, in my rounds, usually what ended up being a thing was, the tournaments I won a local one, and I did pretty okay at another one. And the one I did pretty okay at was because I was able to bully the guy that I was fighting out of the ring. Like, it was just like, I just physically kept, like, enforcing myself upon his area and forced him out of the ring. I want to say, like, twice. Kenjutsu is just bullshit, in my opinion. Tell me these are going to be some, like, high-level people. Also, I'll say this. There are different traditions about what color your hakama is supposed to be, your outfit. In our dojo, if you were a guy, you would wear blue unless if you were high-ranking. And if you were a woman, you would wear white. So seeing these guys with white with a black stripe, I've never seen that outfit before, but it's an interesting choice on like that. Bow to the audience, then to each other. It could be a Korean thing. Yeah, let's fucking go. These guys are like much lower level, and so they're gonna just go for shit. This is gonna be a lot more interesting because they're just gonna be screaming at each other and moving, and our angle is up so we won't get stuck behind someone as often. There we go. There we go. Are they worse? Yes. But they get into these things a lot more. Yeah! There you go! There were dojos that would teach you to hook the leg behind to take out their leg. Red is blocking too much. White is very enthusiastic, very aggressive. Neither one wants to pull out because if they do, then they could get an easy, quick hit falling back. There are other stances, but you generally don't because they're worse. The guy is just like, oh, yeah! Penalty! Yeah, there we go. So he feints for the kote, and then red takes the bait and white goes for it. Yeah, white is faster. So I guess yellow in this context means scored a point. All right. Now red has to be more aggressive because he's behind. First to 2 points. Oh, missed the head entirely with that swing. Got him in the neck though, but it probably would have been a glancing blow with real armor. Fall through is kind of weak, my dude. I don't know if I agree with that one. Okay, no, that was good. The stomp is also part of the whole key thing. Where it's just like yelling. Oh. Bro, red, what the fuck was that? Okay. Like, hit him when he was down, man. That is fucking foul shit. It was probably a heat of the moment thing. White? Red is allowing white to get so fucking close to him, and he does not want him there. No, falling over didn't count for anything. They just reset because, like, beating people on the ground is, you know, kind of dishonorable, kind of shitty. In a real fight, yeah, just go to town, beat the fuck out of him. But, you know, what's with the screams? Everyone's got a different way that they do ki, or, you know, the key thing. You know, it, generally speaking, like the yells, my mom used to say that it sounded like a constant drum beat because of the foot slams. And the yelling, it made it sound very like, it's a very ethereal sound to hear a whole bunch of people doing kendo at once, because it's just all of these screams, these howls, and the slams, and like the constant like hitting of like bamboo on plastic. Yeah, Judge said to like pull back because it was getting boring. Red is now trying to do some weird shit. The parry move? Yeah? No, come on, don't act like you had that shit. I mean, that's part of it, is like, dude, there were these really scary face masks you can get. This is made out of, is it titanium? I think it's titanium. The metal bit on the front, the grill. When you're this close, you can see them, and like the helmet kind of like distorts your features. So you look really fucking scary. But you can get ones where instead of like the metal bar thing, it's just like plastic. And it's apparently really fucking scary because you could just see them like seething and like just horrifying looks. Hey, can you not chew on shit? Thanks. Oh yeah, no, like with the with this metal thing, like if you get we had a guy, his sword wasn't tied right. A throat stab is also a move you can do, though it's less common because it is kind of hard to pull off and also shit. Anyway, the tip flew off, and so these bamboo slats got loose, and just like because the guy was going for a throat stab, see a little like part right here. It just went through the bars of the guy's helmet, and so the plastic one's probably safer, honestly. Is baiting with the overhead and then quickly going for a horizontal swipe legal? Yeah, absolutely. Baiting your opponent is a lot of this. White is also trying to do a thing where he forces Red's arms completely out of position, then quickly backing off and doing a hit. Who do you think is going to win? I honestly think it's going to be White. Red is kind of playing into a lot of this shit. He is defending well, but playing super defensively is not going to work if you can't properly defend. Falling in kendo is just a reset, yeah. A lot of sweat and blood gets on the floor, so you end up like having to reset. You get blood from so you get hit in the side quite often because, well, okay, I should specify, I got hit in the side a lot because you know how hard it is to hit someone's head if you are like significantly shorter than them? Like reaching up there and actually getting a good strike is very difficult. Whereas if you're short and your opponent is, let's say, a foot taller than you, their stomach is a lot easier to hit. So a lot of opponents against me would go for body strikes because it was just easier. So I have like scars on my hips from the body armor here, pressing into my skin so often that it just cut lines. But yeah, no, you can bleed from that. You can bleed from your feet, that kind of stuff. Wrists, you can get a lot of wrist injuries from this. That's how I broke my wrist at one point. Like, it's hard to tell how hard these guys are hitting, but they're hitting really fucking hard. I will say, whatever the fuck is going on with White's helmet is gonna fuck him. If he loses, it's probably because of that. Again, because of the height difference, when we got into like clashes like this, which were really good for me because I could definitely overpower like most people by just being taller than them and stronger than them, walking away from it was a bad move against me. Because like, you can't hit my sides because, you know, you see how they've got their arms at their sides. You're not going to get a clean hit there. You'll probably fuck on my elbow, but you're not going to get a clean hit. But for me, I can like press into your head as you back away and getting a really strong hit. Red is doing something very interesting there by getting up under his guard. That's another fight starting. White thinks that he can push back. Tie? All right.
Suck my nuts, Christopher Robin!
There we go. Again, much more exciting than that 7th Dan shit. I would have counted that. We'll watch the rest of this fight, then we'll switch to something else. But I like nerding out about my time doing kendo. I don't know how many years I did it, but I did it for years, like constantly. Like one of the things I probably could have done as a living, because like I was doing pretty good at it too. Yeah, White, you didn't have it, man. It's fun. It's very violent. It's very physical. Fencing is not as physical about this. Fencing, like, you don't get this much like physical contact. Yeah, I had this navy black blue thing. I don't think I've ever played Bushido Blade, no. The most accurate depiction of kendo I've seen in a video game is probably The Way of the Samurai for the PS2. What the fuck is that? Come on now. And like the thing is that they don't want to like push each other because that opens up your wrist. So like, yeah, because if you push, right? you're pushing them away from you, so they get backwards momentum, which is important. Momentum is very important. So you push, and then they can cut off your wrist, because you're in this position after you push them. And these guys are good enough to know that, so they're trying to back off. In high-level tournaments, you definitely get physical with Hema. Hema just seems like nerd shit to me. I looked away for that one, so I didn't... Yep, exactly what I was talking about. You push away. And that was a point for red somehow? Oh, no, that was a miss. Yeah, he missed the head entirely. Red deflects. He goes for a dough. White hits there. Red gets the dough. White. When did red even hit? What? What was that call? Oh, yeah. Good judges are very quick. That hit could have worked. Okay, it was the wrist hit there at the end. Hey, Bro Bold, how you doing? That misses. I think it's this right, the Cote hit. Yeah, and then this... There. They think red got a better swing on, his wrist, which, okay, yeah. It was really fast on the slow motion even. No, come on. I think red wins this one, honestly, because white is not as good. Yeah, they disagreed. Yeah. Yeah. White's pissed. White is so fucking mad. It's almost like the thing that you do for kendo is actually the exact same way that you do vocal training. Because when you sing, you shouldn't sing from like your throat, right? You really need to be like leaning into your, like, you need to have it come from your stomach. More specifically, your lungs, like the bottom of your lungs, right? You do the same thing with kendo. So you get those really guttural shouts if you're like using your throat, but you get a much more like singy kind of like pitch if you do a proper ki. Come on up, boy. Audience is super hype. Boyd is here. Oh. Wave. I thought they were going to try and count that. I think yellow means to, like... What if they collectively decide to turn on the judge? There are 3 of them. Funny, but no. White, what are you doing? Yeah, red had that one fucking clean. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think old school they used to wear a different outfit, but nowadays White got really sloppy. Yeah, he exerted too much energy in the beginning. And red like just had the red had the stamina. A lot of it is stamina to keep going. To constantly just keep going, keep going, keep going. It's incredibly physically exhausting. No, it's individual matches. So it'll be your coach will say you're against that guy. You're against that guy, or and I just dropped that, so it's gone now. Yeah. And sometimes just realizing that your opponent's gonna like physically exhaust themselves is worth it. And that's why like those really high level kendo the 7th Dan that we saw earlier just played it really smooth, real safe. Just keep your guard up, wait for an actual moment and go for that. Don't try and go for every little fucking thing that you can do. Actually like get like a clean opening and go for it. And against like someone who knows what they're doing, they're not going to give you a clean opening, so you're not going to see many, and so you're going to have to force a situation. And if you're good, you're not going to allow a situation to be forced. Do you have to keep both hands on the handle, or can you one hand to reposition? You can, but you won't want to. Yeah, red won by a lot. Overexerting yourself is a thing that you do when you're low level. You can reposition your hands, but again, you're mostly using your left hand. The right hand is just for positioning. The left hand is where all the force comes in. In fact, pretty much all the strike comes from your left pinky, which is why Yakuza have to have their pinkies cut off on their left hands. Is because that traditional Japanese sword fighting, you use your pinky, and that's like a majority of your power. IRL kendo stream win. I am so fucking out of practice. I would get my ass beat by anyone. Like, I was good at it half my life ago, but it's been a minute. But yeah, it's sort of the reason that it's your pinky is because, so let me get one where they're not in immediate contact with each other. Yeah, that was fucking weird. Whatever the fuck that was. Like, dove to the fucking mat. I could do kendo / fencing against Fred. Okay, so this is a really awkward angle because of us being behind him, but the last, like the longest bit of your arm is going to be your left arm. Your left arm is going to be the farthest like reach that you've got. So if you just go whap like full on out with your left hand, you need all that power to go through there. So it's similar to using, you know, a brush. You don't just use your you know, forearm muscle. You're using all of the muscles in your arm, right? You use your shoulder to your muscle to your forearm to your hand to your pinky, and you're using all of them to extend, and all of them force extra like damage into the blade, right? You don't just like do one swing. And that's what gets you that really satisfying pop sound. He missed that strike, but like the follow through on that hand's kind of weak, but then you watch the follow through on this guy's hand, bop. It had that real good pop. The right hand does the steering. The left hand does the damage. All the force is coming from the left hand. You barely apply force with your right hand. You could do kendo one-handed. It'd be awkward. You're using all of your body weight and all of your muscle to focus on one point, which is really just that like 12 inches at the end of your blade, because that's like the curve of the blade, so it's got the most cutting power. And then you put all of your weight, all of your muscle power into that spot, and that's what actually ends up cutting through people. If you do it right, you can cut through a fuck ton of shit with a real blade. But yeah. Anyway. That's probably enough of me talking about kendo, because like I don't know if anyone actually cares. But probably not a tank, no. I would like to see what Hima sword fighting looks like.
Listen up. I devised a plan to find better home internet, guys. Madison, you scout the web.
I did put the thing that people said.
Monitor our projected data.
3 sword style, cool as shit, bad.
Avoid that hassle and go with
Because you can't get any force going on with your
All right, new plan. You sign us up for US Cellular home internet. Clipper and I will try it out.
Can we skip it? Like, what is this footwork on Scythe guy? Dude, I could charge that guy and make him trip almost immediately. What the fuck?
I devised a plan to find
Fuck
better home
off with
Madison,
this.
You scout the web for the best deals.
Oh.
Usage. And Ellen.
Avoid that hassle and go with US Cellular home internet. No more guesswork, and it is faster than ever.
All right, new plan. You sign us up for US Cellular home internet. Clipper and I will try it out by streaming the game in our new sports theater.
Is that a grill?
And a hot tub for you.
US Cellular new and improved home internet, just $34.99.
I updated my U-block.
Harbor Freight knows.
Harbor Freight sucked my nuts. Okay. Yeah, YouTube changed how the ads work again. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Please, no!
What is that? It's the end of.
Don't show me Harbor Freight or wherever the fucking god damn it. What the fuck is that? Okay, people who do Hima, are these guys good or is this ass? Because they barely look like they're hitting each other. I mean, this is Hima. Best looking exchanges, yeah. Hey, Anon, thank you for the 7 gift subs. That's super fucking cool of you. If you got one, make sure you thank him. Get out of the fucking way! Are we pretending as if armor doesn't exist? Anon, thank you for another gift sub. Like, the reason that when, like, they'd pull away from each other in Kendo and, like, slide their sword against each other is, like, that doesn't... It forces your block out of position, but, like, it doesn't actually, like... Anon just going fucking crazy with this shit right now. Thank you. Holy fuck. Hima is specifically unarmored combat. Yeah, people who LARP are, like, I've beaten the shit out of everyone who's ever, like, fought me who does LARPing. Like, that just teaches you how to do really shitty swordsmanship. So yeah, I guess if we're pretending like that we don't have armor on, then yeah, you could just, like, slide your sword across them and that's good enough. I do like the satisfying sounds.
Head strike from blue to red. 4 points for blue fighter.
Match blue, well fight.
And then there's re-showing this fight from earlier.
But 1 point for blue is okay.
Make it. Hustle.
I didn't see
Point was-
anything there. I don't
point
believe
was
anything
cool.
was done there. And nothing. Yeah, I think the judges agree with me. 1 point blue. Frankly, I think nothing was done there, but 1 point for blue is okay. Goes over
Gentleman's courtesy.
to assure his opponent that he has nothing but respect for him. This Koltev, I have great respect for this man, but also for Obritsky.
That stance looks a lot more like Kendo-like.
Look at this.
It's like kind of halfway between fencing and Kendo. The swings are awkward, man.
Beautiful cut to the head by Koltev.
That was beautiful. It looks like they're flailing, man. Like, their swings are so fucking awkward. They're just wilding out there with swings. Yeah. I don't fucking get this, man. They have, like, no blade control. Yeah, exactly. Like, their follow-through is wank. I mean, like, yeah, I know how to do... Okay, again, I'll say this. I own a gun, right? Because despite the fact that I could beat your ass with a sword, swords are not very effective weapons in modern days. It's more effective to just straight up bring a gun. This is like watching amateur boxing. Yeah, I'm trying to find, like, good HEMA, and that's pretty hard to find, it turns out. There's a lot of people who just have, like, no fucking skill flinging themselves at each other. Gun is a much more effective weapon. Like, legitimately, and you don't need a high-powered pistol. Like, 22 is enough to bring someone down. There's also less overkill. So you're not gonna, like, have the bullet keep going as easily. Like, just shoot the guy. Like, 9mm, 22, any of that. Like, people are like, oh, 9mm's not good. 9mm will go through someone's head. What was that third type of fighting? So you've got LARPing, which is just D&D with foam swords. Which is basically, have you seen a show where they did sword fighting? That's your training. So bad. Then there's HEMA, which is historical reenactment fighting. Which I've not seen a good fight with HEMA. It seems like bullshit to me. And then there's Kendo, which is where, you know, you have people who have been in a long succession of, you know, samurai teaching you how to do actual sword fighting. Then you've got Kenjutsu, which is another school of sword fighting that came back because it was not good. Kendo, like, I remember we went to this, like, Weeb event at we went to this Weeb event at the local library, right? And they brought in someone who did Kenjutsu, and they were trying to show off how cool it was, and they asked for a volunteer from the audience. This is while I was doing Kendo, so I was like, yeah, bet. So I got up on stage and kicked her ass. Because, like, her stance was bullshit. And she's like, this is how you do a strike. And so she does a strike, and I deflect it with no fucking trouble. Because it's, like, slow, awkward, and bad. They're trying to show off, like, how cool they are, and I'm just like, nah, fam. Disarm a bitch. Yeah, knowing how to actually, like, use a sword would be great for this HEMA guys. Because they were doing these swings that I'm just like, that would not cut. Like, yeah, I could run my knife along, like, someone's head right now. But, like, if you don't put pressure into it, it's not going to do anything. And a lot of those swings that they were doing the HEMA stuff, it didn't look like they were putting any pressure into that swing. They're just sort of dragging their weapon across people. And it's like, what is that going to do? It's going to hurt. Don't get me wrong. But if you, like, slide a blade against someone and you don't, like, actually put some power in it, it's not going to kill. Like, I wouldn't recommend rubbing a kitchen knife on your face, on your arm, or whatever. But if you did and you didn't put any pressure into it, it wouldn't hurt you. Right? It's only when you actually put some real fucking force into a knife that you get through, like, someone's skin. Yeah, for legal reasons, don't do that. Yeah, bonking them on the head would be, yeah, it's like the equivalent of a weak handshake. And that's what I kept seeing with those guys. Is they'd be like rubbing their swords on each other. And it's like, yeah, I guess if you're unarmored, you get cut real bad and that would suck. That counts as points in this sport? Like, it takes a surprising amount of strength to stab someone. Yeah. Have you ever stabbed a piece of raw meat? Like, you actually got to put some, like, effort into it. Like, meat doesn't want to be stabbed. You got meat, you got organs, you got bones, you got all sorts of shit in the way of you and, you know, the blade. Like, any of that could slow you down. There's also just, like, the unwillingness to take a life. That definitely slows down a blade. Even if you fucking hate the guy, like, it's still, like, horrible. The HEMA rule set is based on martial duels, so no armor, first disabling hit gets a point. I don't think sliding your blade across someone would be disabling. It would just be annoying. Maybe I'm made out of stronger stuff than the people who do HEMA. Hesitation is what used to screw me in bouts. I used to have that issue in Kendo as well, and my teacher said, don't do this when you learn how to drive. If you're gonna make a lane change, commit to it. If you're gonna make a strike, commit to it. If you act like you're gonna do something, you go, oh, wait, hold on, never mind. I didn't think any of those guys had sufficient force behind their weapons. And that's the way, you know, that, like, you need to treat committing with a weapon. Like, when you're gonna strike someone, fucking hit them. I'm gonna change the name of the VOD real quick. Morning coffee, the Pope, and Rev sword fighting. Cool. All right, I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break, get something to drink, and then I'll come back. On the other hand, jukes. Yeah, if you're gonna juke, you juke, but don't act like you're juking if you just, like, didn't commit to the slice. There's very much a difference between, like, going, like trying to juke someone out and actually, like, not committing to a sword swing. What are your thoughts on nunchucks and sai? I have no idea how the fuck to use those. Effectively, both could be used as real weapons. I'm just not really aware of how to use them, and they're not terribly easy weapons to learn. If you're good at it, you could do some real fucking damage. The nunchuck is a double-headed mace. The sai is a, you know, grappling dagger. It's cool. Anyway, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go piss, and then we're gonna, I think we switch over to, I think we probably switch over to RimWorld. Just for a bit. Then I need to work on my painting. I'll be right back. 2 minutes again. Made sure the music was running this time. almost done too. Cool. Can you play that song from the last BRB? Yeah, maybe I just don't know about HEMA. Maybe those guys were just shit. I mean, I definitely don't know enough about HEMA, because, like, I didn't get that at all, man. Like, that was weird. That was very weird. Those guys had no defense at all. They were just letting people beat the fuck out of them. The kendo guys that we were seeing, they had way too much defense. Yeah, I don't know about that. Disabling blows count? Try disabling someone's hand by cutting it off. That's a disabling blow. Murder someone. That's what we were taught in kendo. Just straight up cut off their wrist. That counts as a kill. That counts for points. Because, yeah, do you die immediately from getting your hand cut off? No. Not great for your health, though. How do you get through a part where, when you're doing art, where, what you look like, what you draw is shit? Oh, okay, yeah. So there's 3 segments of art. You have nothing on the canvas. Then you have some stuff on the canvas, but it's like bad. And then they have the last bit where it's like you actually add the detail and it looks like you actually know how to draw again. Yeah, that bit, I'm aware that bit in the middle exists, and just sort of like you accept that bit exists and you realize, yes, it sucks right now. I'm not done with it. I can still fix it. We just push through this bit because I know at this part, I always think that I'm just a failure and this shit sucks. But as soon as you just like go a little bit further, then it'll be fine. So it's like, you do it enough times, you do enough art, you start to notice that pattern that you have that part where you fucking hate it. And then you just realize that you're gonna have that moment. You're gonna have that moment forever. Just realize that that's just, you know, that's just your mind seeing how fucked your art is. Yeah. It's not really like a plateau of skill. It's just like you... Are you talking about plateauing, or are you talking about like... How do you stop yourself from perfecting a painting? For me, I have time limits on stuff. Oh, plateauing. So plateauing means that you need to mix up what you're doing, because what you're doing is you're doing the same drawings or the same kind of stuff over and over, and you're not challenging yourself in very specific ways that you're not good at. So you need to challenge your work by doing something really outside your wheel well, or focusing on something that you wouldn't normally focus on. So like, choose an element of art where you feel like you're a little bit weak. For instance, line weight, color composition, something like that, and just do exercises on that, or do a piece of art, but implement that to an extreme. Like, you really want to mess with line weight, so then just like make a painting or drawing or whatever where line weight is the key bit of the piece. Yeah, you definitely have these like bits where you just plateau, and that the part where you can see flaws in your work is actually a good thing, because that means you're not lying to yourself. You're saying, here are things that I can improve on. Here's how my art is bad. Take that as a opportunity to like improve. You're getting better at noticing issues. So your skill is improving. Just the skill that you're gaining is your ability to recognize what's wrong. Not necessarily how to do it right yet. And so that means you need to go learn how to do it right, whatever that issue is. Time restrictions are a exclusively capitalistic product and won't exist without capitalism. It will, because if I let's say we switch over to communism or anarchy or just some other form of exchanging ideas or money or whatever, you would still want to do gallery shows, right? Not to sell the art, but just show everyone, hey, I made all these things and I'm expressing myself in this way, right? When's your gallery show? Next month. Oh, okay, you got your work done? Nah. Like, the fuck? People like when their work is finished. There's like, you have to have a definitive end to it. Anyway. I need to flick the switch on after hours. Yeah, and eventually you do die, so you actually do have to finish your work at some point, else it'll be finished when you're dead. Alright, well anyway, I'm gonna switch what I'm doing. So 3, 2, 1.